Okay, just give me one moment to get my screen up. It's not allowing me to see the Zoom.
Yep, not a problem.
All right, is my screen sharing?
Yes, it is. Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Jennifer Kenny. I am project coordinator over at the Suffolk County Community College Entrepreneurial Assistance Center. Tonight, presenting for you networking for small business owners, we have Professor Adeyeye. We do have the Q&A feature available, the chat feature available, and you can also raise your hand to unmute your microphone so that you can interact with our presentation tonight. Melissa, without further ado, whenever you are ready, you can take over.
So perfect. I'm still not able to see people, and I don't think you're able to see me. It says you can't start your video. And
Jay, can you fix that for her, please?
Sure.
all
You
right.
can.
Okay, let's try again. Okay, perfect.
I see you.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to make your acquaintance. My first apology is that this is not necessarily a transactional communication, as we'll talk about in a moment, because you're only seeing me and I'm not able to see you. But that is a great tenet of what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is networking for small business owners. So I thank you for taking your precious time to give to me and share with me tonight. And I ask that you will share some of your insight and some of your experiences as we take this journey together. Are we still seeing my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's go over what we're going to be discussing today. So we have a few learning outcomes. We want to make sure that we can have a personal and business introduction. We want to talk about how we can talk to anyone and build some rapport with that person. Next, we're going to look at creating interests, creating lasting relationships and sharing interests. And lastly, that catch, that 30-second elevator pitch that helps you to potentially grab that client or extend your business. So to introduce myself, my name is Professor Melissa J. Adeyeye. I love waking up in the morning and inspiring minds. I'm an assistant professor at Suffolk County Community College, where I teach our basic communication courses, but I have my master's in speech communication, rhetoric, and performance studies. I've been a teacher for over 15 years, and I spend my extra time, if you will, advising our communication club and really getting into one-on-ones with our students and our honor society and in that club. I enjoy teaching every course that I have the opportunity to teach on campus: Intro to Human Communication, Interpersonal Communication, Public Speaking, and Intercultural. Some of the things that we'll be talking about and discussing and expanding are both in those courses of interpersonal communication and public speaking. A little bit of intercultural, but mainly between a dynamic between two people. And lastly, I've also expanded my teachings into the K through 12 realm in Asia by extending these communication concepts to help teachers to be more effective in their classrooms and their dynamics with administrators and with others. So today I want to move some things around. I was hoping to hear from you, and I'm going to ask if you would introduce yourselves to me. I'd like to know your perspective and where you're coming from. So give us in about 30 seconds. Let's know who you are. Do I have any first volunteers? You can use the raised hand function. Okay, go ahead, Anton.
Good afternoon or good evening, all. My name is Anton Williams. I'm the owner of No Spot Left Behind. I am trying to get it started. I don't really have much done. I don't do well with networking, so I saw this opportunity, and I'm just trying to learn how to engage and bring some customers to my business. Thank you.
Perfect, Anton. It's wonderful to meet you. Thank you for being first. All right, do I have another
No problem.
volunteer? You can simply, okay, I have an iPhone. I don't have a name. Go ahead and unmute.
My name is Tina Webb, and I am doing a couple of different things. I have a small cosmetic company that I started. It's just for organic aloe vera skincare. And I'm also doing something where I'm working with recruiting for physicians and nurses and nurse practitioners and physician assistants, because I've done that for such a long time.
Perfect. Thank you, Tina. Welcome. All right, I have Samsung. Go ahead next. I think I only have one Samsung. SM, go ahead and unmute. You have your hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my name is Gracia. I am presently trying to start a general contracting company, and that's about it. I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
Perfect. And did I hear Gracia with the G?
Yes.
Perfect. Welcome, Gracia. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
I have Angie next.
Hi, how are you? I'm Angie Torrado. I'm currently going into my senior year of high school, and I have a social media and digital marketing business named Kaleo Marketing. Currently, I'm working with nonprofits and other for-profits, and I'm just like starting. I started last year in December around there.
Perfect. Welcome, Angie. Thank you for the intro.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Sure. I have a few more people we haven't heard from yet. If you are ready to unmute. Oh, I have somebody in the chat. Veronica, are you willing to unmute and introduce yourself? I know some of us may be in different situations, and I respect that. If I don't have anyone else yet ready to introduce themselves, then I'll move on. But I do want to say that part of communication is not just theorizing and listening, but it is a practice. It is something that we do over and over again. So I'll give one more call for an introduction, and there are no requirements. It's just, hi, my name is, and tell us about yourself. Right, I see a chat. Okay, Sandra, are you willing to talk with us? We don't see your face, so there's no worries there.
Oh, hi. I am Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Yes. I think, start my own business,
Mm-hmm.
like a home handmade products, but I don't know how to start. That's why I want to take this class.
Perfect, Sandra. And folks, I apologize if my lights keep going out. I'm trying to save energy, so they keep going out. Thank you, Sandra.
Okay.
And that is why we're here. We're all at different levels. We're all looking for different things to improve our entrepreneurial journey. Do I have anyone else who would like to introduce themselves who we haven't heard from yet? Again, I'd like to begin to create this as an interactive webinar. All right. So as we introduced ourselves, I want to acknowledge some things in the room. How did you feel? Did you feel a little bit tense? Did you feel a little bit unsure of what to say? Or did you feel confident? Have you done this before? Have you done this before and always wondered to yourself, oh my gosh, what do I say? Now, all of those feelings are normal. They're a part of daily life, and we may feel like they're amplified because we attach business to it or we attach some sort of stakes to it, right? Am I missing an opportunity? If I'm not perfect, some of us who are perfectionists out there, if I'm not perfect in my introduction, then I won't get whatever the result is. I want to begin to dismiss those feelings and just be okay with the anxiety of communicating. This is a typical thing. I have met thousands, probably tens of thousands of students. And when we talk about interaction of interpersonal communication or even in public speaking, which is you to a large group, there is always some feeling of anxiety. So I share that with you so that you know it's normal and you become more at ease with that feeling the more you do it. So as we're talking about these personal and business introductions, I want to go through some of the things that I heard from our participants this evening, and you can correct me if I didn't hear it correctly. So I heard from Anton, it's no spot left behind. I might have gotten that one incorrect. Anton, can you correct me on that one?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. There's no spot behind. I'm a veteran, so it's kind of like a spin on the no soldier left behind, no man left behind kind of thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I love the context of your business. So I heard Anton, who told us about his business already. I heard from Tina, who's telling us about her cosmetics business already, and a part in recruiting nursing that she's been a part of for quite some time. I heard from Gracia, who wants to start a general contracting company, and perhaps we're in the still in the idea phase, right, where we're still thinking out what we want to do or how that's going to come to be. And then I'm hearing from Angie, who is coming from us in high school and preparing in her educational journey to expand a business that she may do in her future as she grows. And I heard from Sandra, who's thinking about how she's going to start. Now, we're all at different levels, and that is perfect. Where you are is where you are supposed to be. So the question is, how do you express that to people? We have to first start with the feeling of self and inadequacies. Where you are is where you're supposed to be, and rest in that as you communicate. I am in the beginning phases of creating my entrepreneurial journey. I am in the middle of. So as we think about where we are in our journey, we accept where we are, and we use that as part of our introduction. Now, our introduction, I kind of skipped around. That's okay. We might feel this way as I talked about the anxiety. What do you do? Have you encountered this question when you go to either the personal gatherings or professional gatherings? That what do you do? And you don't have to unmute and answer this, but I'm going to make some assumptions. Do you feel like this person where your mind is swimming? You feel the pit in your stomach. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Well, some of us have that figured out more clearly than others. And the process that we're going to talk about today is to clarify that. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes practice. So how are we going to do that? Let's talk about some inspiration before we get into the actual process. Jill Spiegel is a psychologist who has written many books about conversations and the human dynamic, and we share that in Communication Concepts. And one quote that I've taken from her is, when you share your job and your interests with passion and purpose, you become interesting to others, and then you create a fascinating conversation. So I'm going back to this anxiety or this feeling of anxiety. As we're going to enter that moment, the best thing you can do for yourself is to accept yourself where you are and show what you're passionate for. And that brings us something we call in communication, emotional contagion. So when you are interesting, people become interested in you. So we first have to identify what is it that we want to do and how we do that. So I'm going to jump back up here to how do we talk to anyone? Before we get into what your business is and what you do, when is the best time for you to network? So I'm going to ask for you to unmute. What is the best time, do you think, to network? That's my first question. Anton?
Anytime.
Yes.
I thought-
Yes. Absolutely. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Oh, no, I was just repeating it. I didn't know if you heard what I said.
Yes. Any time. Absolutely anywhere. Friends, family, in business situations. We'll talk about the elevator pitch, which is on the elevator. But when you have an interaction with another human, that is your time to network. Okay. So we usually put this business only spin on networking, but the idea is you never know who you're going to meet. And it doesn't mean that you're going to meet the most famous or the richest person. You're going to meet somebody who you can connect with that can further your life and further your business. Now, rather than thinking about a transaction of what can I get from this person, we want to start to dispel some of our approaches to people. So when is the best time to network? Anytime. But what are we doing in networking? Well, we're not selling per se. You can watch a lot of videos about your elevator pitch, and you will do some training about what it means to sell your business. But here we're focusing on networking, which is creating a network of people who are interested in you and your goals and will do what they can to help you further them. So what does that mean? That could be your friend who is genuinely interested in your business. And if you have a product, I'm coming back to Tina, because you have cosmetics and that's a product. Maybe your friend is interested in buying your product. They may not go into business with you, but they may share that product with other people. Or I heard from Gracia, you may be talking to friends. They may not need a contractor, but maybe they have a person at their job who's also into contracting or needs some work done. You can get a reference or possibly connect with somebody in the area to help you start your business. So as we think about networking, let's not limit it to selling our product or our services, but think about expanding your connections or your relationships with people that naturally will help you understand. One could be your business, how to move your business forward, how to move your products or services forward, or genuinely just be a support to you, right? So that's what we're thinking about in terms of a network. How do you walk into a room? So before we even say anything, you say quite a bit. In communication theory, we talk about nonverbal communication, and we say this is about 85%. The number is debatable based on research. However, the concept remains that your presentation of self, what you do, how you do it, what you look like, and I'm using that in very broad terms, how you present yourself starts already speaking to the next person because we perceive things. So I'm going to use a very superficial example. I wear glasses. What do my glasses say to you? And please be candid with your responses. You cannot offend me. I do this all the time. What do you read about me, or what are your impressions about me when you see glasses? Do I have any takers?
You don't have great sight.
Yeah, I definitely, if I take it off, I don't. I can't see. Yes, Veronica, I wear glasses and can't see. Any other assumptions? And I want to get into some assumptions that we don't necessarily talk about. When you see people with glasses, what are things that you think?
When I was a kid, I thought people with glasses were smart.
That's a very real answer. And we still subconsciously think about that. We really do. Studies have been shown, even though, Anton, your first answer is correct. You say, well, they wear glasses because they can't see. That's true. But we also have some subconscious or social understandings that we attach to people based on things that we put on. So what does that mean? When you're going into a business setting, what type of attire do you choose? And this, by all means, is not to tell you what to wear and when to wear it, but start to think about the choices that we make and how that plays a part in your communication when you are interacting with another individual, and how you might choose for different settings when your intention is to network. So if you're going, yes, people do judge a book by its cover. So I want to tweak that a little bit to say, we as humans naturally start to create information based on what's available to us. So before I even speak, there is information available about me, right? From the things that I put on my body to the very makeup of who I am. And those are all part of communication. We get deeper into that when we talk about intercultural communication and how that affects perhaps the things that we do and say, or deeper meanings based on social interactions. But when I am asking you this question, how do you walk into a room? The question is, will someone else want to talk to you? We're going to focus on the face. What is your facial expression? And I'm so saddened that we're not able to see faces for this, but I encourage you to take an in-person session with me, shameless plug, on Saturdays. And that's where we can have what's called the richest form of communication, because you're going to take in information about my eye contact, my smile or my lack of smile, my eyebrows. So when we are expressing emotion, our face is the main reader or communicator of emotion. Now, does that mean when we walk into a room, we are the most smiley and giggly person? Does that mean that when we walk into a room, we are the most reserved? When we're talking about building rapport and talking to anyone, we do need to talk about positivity, right? So when you are consciously in a networking moment, are you being conscious about your approachability? A study was done about people in bars. I don't know if you frequent a bar, but the study was done in this social setting where people go out with the intention of meeting other people. And so what we found in that study is that persons with open posture, meaning their arms are open, they might be at the bar with their bodies sort of turned out toward, would have more approaches by people, right? Other persons. How are you doing? Do you want to dance? Would you like a drink? Whatever was appropriate at that setting. And the study also found that persons who were at the bar with a closed posture, right, their arms together, right, turned away from the other people socializing, was not approached as much. And this had nothing to do with what they're wearing. They had some control on their presentation. So your body posture mainly is a deterrent or an invitation to conversations with anyone. Okay, so we have an open posture, your arms are open, your hands are open, and then we have a closed posture, which says, do not approach me. I don't want anyone coming to me. So when we're thinking about networking, and we're thinking about networking can be anytime, folks, this is hard. To think about how you enter a space by being open and welcoming. Think about your smile. I want you to take a moment. If you have a cell phone near you that you can turn into a mirror, or you have a mirror, I want you to turn and look at your face. Do you look like a murderer like me? We often see when we don't have a smile, the corners. Thank you for the laugh. Oh, I love to hear your laughs. We all look that when we don't smile. Now, again, I am not advocating that you go out with a wide grin. Studies have also been shown, specifically for women in business, that a broad smile is often interpreted as disingenuous. Why? I could not tell you. That's not what the study told us. But a growing smile, a reserved smile, is interpreted as a person who knows and understands what they do, how they do it, and as they grow that smile, is accepting of that relationship or that communication situation. So I tell my students, look at yourself in the mirror, practice your smile. Yes, it is that simple, and it seems menial, but it makes a large difference. Think about when you're out. What is your posture? Are you closed up often because this is very comfortable, or are you open? Okay. Now, again, I have to make sure I put in this caveat. It is not every time that we are open and networking, or please make sure that you're doing this in safe spaces or places where you feel safe to do it. But as we are thinking about entering into business relationships, and that they could be at any time, how do you open yourself to these conversations and be approachable? Now, the third item is the norm of reciprocation or reciprocity. When we're in that conversation, often I will have people say, "What's your name?" Has that ever happened to you? Probably. What's your name? And what are the typical responses that we can get from that? Maybe the face that you saw before you looked in the mirror. We might feel a little suspicious. Why do you want to know my name? What is it that you want from me? Those are typically the responses. I don't know if any of you are at home, but do you get the people who knock at your door selling you something? How do you approach them when you open the door? Most times they don't get a smiling face, okay? Because they know that you want something from them, or that they want something from you. So the norm of reciprocation means that as human beings, when we give something, we always want something back. And so when a person is asking something from us without them first giving something, we typically interpret that as suspicious behavior. So when we are entering open and perhaps we are going to approach someone, what is the first thing that you would do? Now, let me get some participation here. When you first meet someone, what's the first thing you say? Other than what's your name?
Probably hello.
After hello.
Oh, I think that's why I'm here. I mean, I don't, I don't really know.
Sure,
Like,
Anton.
I'm used to dealing with a certain demographic of people. You know, like when I started my first business, I was like young. I was knocking on doors. So, like you said, people were opening doors already knowing. You know, it was power washing. I'm carting the power washer behind me, so they already know what I'm here for. So, I'm trying to figure out how to bridge that gap now. You know, I don't really know how to talk to people that well. So, that's why I'm here.
Anton, thank you so much for sharing that. You are giving us some firsthand experience of how you might have been received at the door, right? Hello, my name is. That's typically what would come after that. Some of us said, how are you? So I would suggest to you, hello, my name is. You are giving your name. That is an exchange, or something that you're going to want back. And a person is more likely to reciprocate with their name if you give them yours, because reciprocation is what builds trust. I see here in the chat, it took a little bit of time to get over there. Veronica says, how are you? Curtis also says, how are you? And so what typically might you get? I'm okay. We still might get that hesitation. So I want us to start to think of reciprocity, of giving something first before asking to get something, right? Those questions are asking. So we can create scripts, if you will, on how to start a conversation. Hello, which gets that person's attention. My name is. Now, what if I'm not comfortable with sharing my name right now? There are some things that we can discuss where we would start to share commonalities. And here's where I want to get a little bit of brainstorming. Before you start sharing, you need to know, what is it that you like? I'm going to make this a little bit larger. Let's take a moment to start to think about, what else would I say? And that is why we're here. Oh, Anton, I appreciate you so much. So folks, you can text to speech to your phone to start to write things down. You can write it on a document if you're on your computer, or write it on your phone if you have notes, or you can write it into the chat here, or write it down with pen and paper. However, but let's write it down. We are going to brainstorm what fascinates you. Now, these little fascinating insights, things that you think about, things that make you excited, are going to be that next thing after, hello, what can you offer? Now, let's pause on business. We're just talking about you, because when you talk about yourself or you find what's interesting or fascinating to you, it will connect to your business, and that's what's going to connect to other humans. So I want to take about 5 minutes. It's 7:38 right now. So at about 7:42, I'd love to hear what you came up with. All right, don't press send yet in the chat. You can type it out there, and then we'll come back in 5 minutes. What brings you joy? What interests you? What concerns you? Brainstorm. There's no wrong answer. Any questions before you brainstorm? Feel free to unmute. Let's take about 2 more minutes to finish that list. One more minute. Thirty seconds. There's no wrong answer. Write something down, get something out there. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's come back. So I appreciate those of you who put it into the chat. If some of you have them in the chat, please hit enter. Thank you for sharing. If that's how you would like to share with us today, I would like to take some time to ask those of us here who will share vocally. All right, I've got one hand up. If I can get some more hands up, and then we'll take you in order. So let's start with what brings you joy, then to what interests you, and what concerns you. All right, I have Anton, then Tina, and then I'm hoping for some more hands to go up. All right, go ahead, Anton.
Okay, so for what brings me joy, I said reaching my personal milestones, my my kids reaching their annual milestones, the idea of financial freedom, and I just started like a little plant journey. So I'm happy with my little plant ideas and stuff like that. What interests me, I said obviously business, that's why we're here. Definitely micro and macroeconomics, how the world's functioning on a financial level. I enjoy video games, and spirituality is definitely an interest of mine. And what concerns me, I said the state of the country, this whole like fake food thing that's going on, and leaving a legacy for my children, so they don't have to work the way that I do. That's all.
Thank you so much, Anton. All right, Tina, your hand was up next.
Yes, the first thing I put that brings me joy is laughter, because I think that laughter is medicine. And if people could learn to laugh more, we would all be a lot happier. I know that I love to laugh, and if I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling a little down in the dumps, the first thing I do is find a way to make myself laugh. And what interests me is travel. It's always been something that I like to do. I want to travel the world before I leave the world. And so that's a big interest of mine. And what concerns me is just making sure that I achieve my goals, and having a plan to make sure that I achieve my goals.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tina. We had you in the chat, so that's a check. Veronica, would you mind sharing, or would you like me to read it? If you don't mind. Okay, I'll read it for you. All right, so Veronica shares with us what brings her joy is learning new things and enjoying life, having an interest in learning and experiencing new things, especially things she has no idea of what it is. Also shared with us things continued topic or ideas, interest from what topics or ideas are all about, things that she doesn't know. Just paraphrasing there. Sorry, Veronica. And what concerns her is failing. She hates to fail, and she will fight to the end to succeed. Thank you, Veronica, for sharing. Curtis, would you like to unmute and share? Or is it okay if I read it? Okay, I'll hold on if we can get Curtis back to us. Anyone else would like to unmute and share with us what you brainstormed? It does not need to be a long list. I will always tell my students, the worst thing you could do is nothing. Even a little something is what's going to help you on your goal to that next experience where you're faced with, hi, and then what? What do I say next? So here are some things that I've heard, and I want to describe how I am using this and how I suggest that you use these in interactions. Taking some time to write down your interests or things that are fascinating to you is what you can use to create your personal introductions. So I'm going to try to go from the back, from the last person up. So we heard from Veronica. Let me just get back up there. We learned from Veronica enjoying life, learning new things, and her concern is of failing. Now, I have a very interesting fact about failing. Veronica, did you know that Albert Einstein failed hundreds of times and it didn't faze him? Oh, Veronica is fast. Let me get over there. Yes. Yes. If you don't try, you fail. So now what I can start to talk with Veronica about is the concept of failing and how do we interpret failing? Oh, I hear from Sandra. I'm going to come to Sandra in just a moment. So the concept of failing, I'm now starting to share this commonality, and I can share from a professional realm, right? My profession is in education, of how I may contextualize failing for students, right? Not trying is failing. Like I said before, the worst thing you could do is nothing, right? Because if you don't try, you won't know if you did it right or you did it wrong, or you need to improve, or you did it well. And so we can start in a conversation like that, and Veronica might share her experiences and what she perceives as failing, or what encourages her to keep going and working at it. And then I might change the conversation into, well, what do you work at? Where do you put your energy? And so this is a genuine connection with another human where I can start to find a commonality, because we always have commonality. We are humans. We have a human experience. I want to go to Sandra, who just shared with me. Sandra, do you mind if I share, or would you like to unmute and share? I'll give Sandra some time to respond to us if she'd will. All right, so I'm going to go back to some of the others that we heard from. Tina shared with us, laughter brings her joy. Where might I go with this, folks? Does anyone know a good joke? Humor is hard. I am not a funny person, but I might ask Tina what makes her laugh. Oh my, Veronica. Oh my. Laughter is subjective, but even in that acknowledgement that there might be dirty jokes in your brain, is what creates a connection. And so you might have Tina share with you, oh no, those, well, I can't speak for Tina, but I might be a little too prudish. I might be a little bit too shy for some of those jokes. And so again, we have a genuine connection. All right. I know you're thinking, how does this benefit my business? I want to remind you that at the basis of every business are people. Genuine people, people that want to be acknowledged for their contributions, for their skills, for their talents, and not necessarily what money we can make. Even though that is the end goal, remember that people are the asset in making money. So these small connections are how you can start to create these relationships with other people. And we can break into business. So let's break into a little bit of business. So we had one practical skill. Please do not dismiss the simplicity of understanding what brings you joy, what interests you, and what concerns you, because those are now all topics that you can pull out in a moment's notice as you enter a conversation. So, hi, you want to hear a funny joke? Oh, I want to make sure I didn't mention Anton, if I can go back, because I want to always acknowledge everyone's contributions. Give me one moment. Anton, you shared with us personal milestones and your children's milestones. I can definitely commiserate with children. I want to bring in some laughter. I watched a clip today of a comedian talking about how children can be very creepy. And what I mean by that is, if you have raised a small child, you may have experienced a figure in your room at 2 a.m. in the morning, slowly creeping toward you. That's what children can do. And if you do not have them, I do not wish that experience on anyone. So again, making small connections with people's humanity. And that's what builds you a genuine connection. So let's now move to the money part. What's the elevator pitch? Okay. We are accepting of who we are and that it might be an anxious moment. We are thinking about what we do personally, and we're going to bridge it with the professional. So the concept of an elevator pitch, as some of you may have already known, is that the time that it takes you to get on an elevator and move to the second or further floors is very short. But you're looking for a way to connect with that person before they leave the elevator and you never see them again. So what does that mean for us? We need to be practiced, prepared, clear, and concise for what is it that we're going to say when we have that networking moment. So we want to be able to attract clients, potential partners, right? People who can help our business along. And those of us who are in our beginning stages, we're helping our ideas along and connecting us with other people who might be able to get that idea off the ground and into reality. So there are a lot of sources out there, but I wanted to condense it into two different techniques. So one is having a first sentence, and I borrowed this from Patrick Dang. He is someone who used to work in Silicon Valley and now has turned to social media to help with sales pitch and to train people to maximize their sales pitches to potential clients. And so he shares with us one sentence: I help X achieve Y by doing Z. Now, this is a simple formula. We're going to take X, Y, and Z and fill in different information. And so this can work for whatever business industry that you're going into. I encourage you to write these down I'll also share the PowerPoint and my resources with you at the end of the session. But it's great for you to write along so you can begin to practice it. So I help X. X is your target audience. Now, here's why this is a formula, and it can be changed depending on whom you're talking to, what setting you're in. Perhaps your networking setting is a family gathering. Perhaps your networking setting is a formal event like a career fair or a business fair. It could be in the park, right? A complete stranger. Or it could be maybe we're in the summer months where when you're in the park, there is something happening. And then so you have the context of that event. So who is your target audience? I'm going to use myself as an example, and I'm going to give you two target audiences. So one, I'm going to use my day job, which is being a college professor, typically in those fall and spring semester. I help X. My target audience are students, college students specifically. Achieve Y. What is the value that I bring? Now, I think about what is my expertise. My expertise is communication concepts. But what or how does that translate to my audience? What do they need? When we talk about the concept of value, we can liken that to money, right? We value money. Money gets us things, but money isn't the only value. What does your audience value? What do they need or want? So for a college student, what do you think they need? They need to graduate. And in order to graduate, they need to get through their classes. So I'm going to start to expand that concept of value. And this may take me some time. This is why crafting this statement is something you should take the time to do. Lastly, by doing Z, how? How am I going to do that? Again, I'm coming back to my professional realm. What is it that I can offer the audience and able to allow them or to help them achieve their goal, right? Get to their value. So mine is in teaching, and I might use some specific skills there. So hopefully you have this formula written down. Now let's see how I can input my specific information and craft it for myself. So when someone says, what do you do, right? We have that whirling head. We have a specific response that we've worked on. I help students that I've underlined here, that's my target audience, achieve their academic goals, right? Whether that is finishing classes, finishing their degree. I've kind of made a broad statement here because it's quick and it's concise, it's to the point. By doing what? By developing their confidence through effective communication skills. So what I do in the classroom is not just give a lot of information or terminology, norm of reciprocity, or different things that I've shared with you today, but I want to help you gain confidence in communicating, right? So that the student can get to their academic goal. Now, the purpose of this statement is it's clear and concise, and it gives you an opportunity to start to expand and talk more about, you can talk more about what are your students like. You can talk more about what you perceive are values to those students. And you can definitely talk about your business. What do you offer this group in order to get to their goal? So here's one example. Now, I'm going to switch it because, am I talking to students today? No. We always have to acknowledge that we will have different stakeholders or multiple stakeholders if you're in a group setting. So I'm going to change that target audience or stakeholder. That's the other term that I'm using for your audience, the person that you're talking to. And I'm going to change it to you. Technically, you're a student, but a more appropriate word or term is learner, right? Because you have expertise, you have knowledge, and you have skill. But I want to be more specific as to what is your context with me? So I help my X here are entrepreneurial learners, and that's all of you. Achieve, well, what do you want? And some of you have so eloquently told us. Confidence and self-presentation, okay? That's how do I network? How do I talk to people? By developing effective communication skills. So when I get on an elevator, hey, my name is Melissa. I help entrepreneurial learners achieve confidence and self-presentation by developing effective communication skills. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay. I want to take a 5-minute pause because we need to come out with some practical application. Use this formula to craft your own 1-sentence elevator pitch. All right, it's 8:02. So 8:07, maybe we can do it in 3 minutes, but write it down. I'll check back in 3 minutes. I help X achieve Y by doing Z. If you have access to the chat, put it in there. If you're writing down on pen and paper, that's great. Do something. Okay, I'm checking back in. Do we need more time? I help X achieve Y by doing Z. All right. Okay, we've got some in there. I'll give us 1 more minute. And I'll add this in as you're doing your final touches. Perfection is getting it done. You can always edit. You can always change it. These are great. Okay. Beautiful. All right, those of us who've put it in the chat, please just give me a quick note if I'm able to read them aloud. I do need your permission. I take your permission very seriously. Okay, and do I have any who would like to unmute and share with us before I read in the chat? You can use that raised hand function. All right, go ahead, Anton, and any other raised hands, please get those up there before I get into the chat.
I help homeowners and renters achieve a new again look to their home by doing power washing.
Okay, very nice, Anton. Thank you. Do we ever have any other hands up? All right, let me get into the chat. Okay, Tina gives us, oh, I'm going to make it a little bit larger as we have more coming in. Okay, Tina gives us, I help people with very dry skin achieve better hydration techniques by showing them how to, and I think we got caught off there, how to, and I think you're going to add something else in there, and I'm sure it's going to be wonderful.
How to achieve it. Really, it's about teaching people. Most people don't know how to hydrate their skin, how to achieve moisture. They think they need to buy a lot of products, and I just want to show them how it's done.
So Tina, let's put that in there on how to achieve moisture. See, I help people with very dry skin achieve. Let's talk about what the end goal is. What do you think their end goal is?
Better hydration.
Okay. What about the skin itself? What would you call that?
I like to use the word techniques, or I forgot the verbiage that I use, but the basic thing is I want to teach them how to treat their skin as if it's like the most important thing.
So that most important thing, when we get that word, I think that's your why, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to help people with dry skin to achieve their most confident skin by learning hydration techniques, because that is your Z, right? That is your business.
Right. Absolutely.
Beautiful, Tina. All right, let's go into Veronica. I help small business freelancers, contractors, and individuals to achieve a mutual legal contract between both parties by drafting customized contracts to fit both provider of services as well as the client to protect both parties' legal individual needs. Woo, that is a lot of legalese. So my question to you is, how can I group those people? Can I group small business, freelancers, contractors, and individuals? Or do I need to target the person that I'm talking to right there? I had a hand up, that wasn't Veronica. Veronica, talk to me in the chat. So what we're doing now is workshopping what we've come up with, because perfection is constantly thinking about what you're doing and refining, right? If you think about a diamond in its raw form, it's not very pretty. But as we pull it out and we continue to refine it in lots of different processes, that's when you get it to its shininess. So these are all diamonds, but they're going to be refined as you come back in and think, where can I be more concise? Because I might pull that out later in a broader conversation. Aha. So Veronica says she can condense her X or her target audience to small business, right? And then she can pull out those different, more subset of freelancers and contractors. All right, providing customized contracts to achieve a mutual legal contract. Yeah. And then customizing it. So again, I would come back to that ending part and maybe focus on protecting. That concept of protecting is something that your audience may want to achieve, right? They want to feel their value is that I want to be protected in any legal contract. I want to make sure that it works for me. So perhaps we might flip the mutual legal contract with the drafting, right? I help small businesses achieve protected contracts in mutual legal agreements by drafting customized contracts. Let me go down. Yes, beautiful, that the idea is in both parties. So I might consider flipping what you've put in for Y and Z. Now, as I'm going through these, I do want to get to everybody to give you some feedback, because that's the way that we can continue to think about how we say it and what works and what may need a little bit more refinement. And so as we think about networking and the anxiety of networking, it is the potential of rejection, right? And so we interpret rejection as, oh, I didn't do so well, or I didn't get it. And we need to kind of let that go. It's easy to say, but it is a practice to do. So if we have that high fear of rejection, I encourage you to try this on family. Try it on people that care about you and you care about them, and help them and let them help you get some feedback on how it's earned. Yes, I love it. You do learn from rejection. And let's put it in this way. Rejection is hard for anybody to take, but to get constructive criticism to help us improve what we're doing. Let me go on to Sandra. I help my loved ones to achieve their goals by developing confidence in their skills. This is very concise. I might ask for some more concrete language here, but you're working towards that. And so I would suggest to you, Sandra, doing a brainstorming session of in what ways are you doing that? And what types of goals? Are those personal goals? Are those milestone achievements? Are those achieving, and forgive me for, it sounds a bit cliche, but achieving happiness? Happiness is different for all of us, and that may be your goal, right? All right, I would like to share Jennifer's next. Hold on. Let's get to Jennifer's. Jennifer says, I help entrepreneurs to start and grow their business. Give me one moment. I help entrepreneurs to start or grow their business by providing environments where they have resources and assistance implementing an actionable plan. This is very nice, Jennifer. It's clear on who is your target audience and what you want to do with them. And although that is broad in growing a business, that's concrete to know us how you're helping businesses. And that gives us the opportunity to talk more specifically in what areas you may find interesting or that you're passionate about within there. Okay, Curtis, I help homeowners and landlords reduce their operating expenses by evaluating the fuel usage, consumption, and lifestyle patterns. Yes, okay, very clear. Homeowners and landlords, and we definitely need that operating expense. You can see my lights going out. By evaluating their fuel usage, consumption, and lifestyle patterns. Very nice, clear and concise. My only suggestion with this, and for everyone. As we're crafting these statements and then moving on to a longer elevator pitch, be careful of using jargon. Okay? Be careful of using jargon. Be careful of using the language that only your business knows. That when you go to work or you talk with other people in your industry, those are the words that you use between each other. That's jargon. Consider to whom you're speaking and do they know that language or not? More likely, if we're trying to get people to take our services or our products, they're not aware of that jargon yet. And so use it in plain speak language. Again, try it on a family member who knows nothing about what you do. And if they give you that look, huh, what does that mean? Change the word. And then practice using what we call layman's terms or common language. Anton, I want to come back to yours. I apologize, I didn't give you feedback. Can you repeat it one more time for me?
I said I help homeowners and renters. I actually didn't write it down. I kind of just freestyled it, but because I was gonna perfect it more. But I said I help homeowners and renters achieve a like new look to their home by doing power washing.
Ah, I love the like new look because in how you phrased that value, you made it sound valuable, right? You made it sound like something that we want to have. And I think that's a great concept to pull out to all of our business persons here. Achieving what? Remember, when we talk about that thing or that goal that we want them to achieve, you need to make it sound like it is the best thing that they could ever have. And that's what piques their interest. All right. So how could you say that, making it sound exciting? Anton, I'm also curious about your non-for-profit. Would you be able to create a statement for your non-for-profit business as well? Or do those two things go together?
So it's pretty much all theory. Like I got an EIN, I got the basics. I don't really have a mission statement. I don't have too much. I actually was trying to get on for the sales tax and EIN applications. I wasn't able to do it. I'm a single father, so it's a little tough at times. But I'm sure that I could if I thought about it. I have to.
So that's
tussle
where I want
around
you to
like-
go. Let's go there. Because
It would
as you are
probably be
thinking
like,
about it, sorry, go ahead.
you go.
As you are thinking about it, remember networking is getting your idea out there to connect to somebody who can begin to realize it. Because Jennifer, network with Jennifer, she can help you implement an actionable plan. Aha! All right. So thinking about that name and even just a part of what it does, you've already told me that it's for veterans, right? That's your target.
Well, I mean, definitely would love to help veterans as well, but like I said, I'm a newly single parent, so it is like a super struggle, and I'm like, I would love to use that as a catalyst to obviously, um, broaden my audience.
Okay. So
And yeah, you go.
a couple of things that I think can help you to your next step. One, when we're thinking about our start, and this is for some others as well, we're in that first identifying phase, or we're not necessarily in our planning phase, right? You are here in these courses to get out there. As you talk about your plan, right? We're just starting with that elevator pitch, which is that initial idea. Don't be afraid of being at that stage, because that's what can get you the network you need to start to expand that idea. So start with one audience, one achieving one goal or value, and one thing that you're going to do. And then you can keep crafting it over and over. You can keep expanding it. but start at that one. All right. And it's going to
Right.
grow. It will continue to grow. All right. So,
Yes.
Anton, you got it.
Thank
All right. I have a couple down here, one more that I'd like to share. I help children achieve mental health awareness by starting with mental health check-ins in the first grade. Very good. Children, do we put an age range on that? Because we can, up until 17, they're technically children. So do you have a certain development group, or are you including all? Mental health awareness and doing your check-ins. I just condensed a couple of those words down. All, okay, so children does do that. So we've looked at this one sentence, and some of the ideas that we came out with from this one sentence is, yes, perfect. Veronica is networking. Anton, look in the chat. This is why we have these moments as well, okay? So what we're looking for from this first sentence, and folks, Veronica, do you mind if I share this? Oh, it's only to me. Okay. Give me one moment. Okay, just give me one moment to check in with Jennifer. So some of the things that we are gathering from this statement is, one, it does take some time for you to think about that statement, to practice and to craft it. Again, I know these are very small concepts, but these are the little things that matter until you get comfortable, and then it all comes out. It leads into a bigger and broader conversation. So now I want to jump to where it gets even bigger, all right? And to give you an idea of where you can go with this. So that who are you in our elevator pitch, we have that one sentence, and it can get from your target audience. Okay. All right, so Veronica, thank you. I'm going to follow up with our participants. I'm not going to read it aloud. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we are now expanding this to this longer 30-second pitch. Wow, it took us about 5 minutes to craft one sentence, right? So what about a whole long paragraph? It will take time, and I want to encourage you to take some time to begin to craft this elevator pitch. I do this in my public speaking class, and it's one of the most popular assignments that takes time, but it is most fulfilling because you can use it anywhere. So who am I? We started with our name. Hi, my name is Melissa Adeyeye. I'm a professor at Suffolk County Community College, where now I'm sharing my intriguing things. I can pull from my personal life that is appropriate to connect. And I just love connecting my students to their academic goals, right? I'm pulling from that one sentence where students may not understand how to navigate higher education. I provide them with mentoring within the classroom and office hours and tools so that they can be confident when speaking to other professors or other people on campus so that they can enrich their coursework. Now, what is my ask? Here's where I come back to that target audience. Who is that person, and what do I want from them? Now, do I need to connect with them again? Most likely, if they're going to walk off that, if they're going to walk off their elevator, I want to get some contact information. But if they are someone who has a student as a family member, I might share my contact information. Please have them contact me, share my business card, or maybe it's somebody who is attending the school. Please contact me at X time. Again, sharing with them my contact information. I would like to speak with you. Set up another time that you can continue the conversation. You might even go as far as to ask about their LinkedIn, right? We're going back to this norm of reciprocity. You share something, right? And what is expected is that we often get it back. Often. When we don't get it back, it's called rejection, and that's okay. But the opportunity is for you to put yourself out there to start to begin to grow a network. So who am I? What is my name? What do I do? Now, if I'm not already thought it out, and that's where some of us are, I am beginning what's your project? I'm in the planning phases of, what is your business? All right, pull down from that first sentence and begin to craft more of a statement. And then what do you want from that person? Do you want to talk with them more about their opportunity of how they can connect with you? Do you want to learn about maybe programs that they have that can help enrich? Do you simply want to sell your product? I noticed that you may want to have, and I want to go back to, I think it was Tina's company. I would love to show you more techniques to enhance your skin so you feel wonderful. That's gonna hook me and say, yeah, sure. And we might get an exchange of information. So I am going to give you an example here. I know we're running a little bit on time. The example is in here, and I quickly will go through it as we close up. And this is a sports psychologist. This is someone whose business is to convince people within the sports realm that they need help or some coaching, not just beyond the technique, but in how they think about what they're doing. So this is shared from Sean McCann, PhD, a senior sports psychologist. And he says, hi, I'm Sean McCann, a sports psychologist here at USOPC. One of the things I learned early on was that the biggest events where you really want an amazing result can often produce new thoughts, new emotions, and new behaviors. So just when you want predictability,
to the mechanic.
Oops, let me get you on mute here. So just when you want predictability, control, and certainty, great athletes often struggle to manage feelings of uncertainty. If we work together, we'll figure out how to increase certainty and how to help it happen when it matters most. There isn't one way to do this. Some athletes like to connect at competitions only, and others like to meet every week or on only a month. That's up to you. What matters is that we keep our focus on the things that really make a difference. So in this example, you can see how much more we're going to work on. First, he introduces himself and gives a perspective to what he's doing. Now, this is someone who is in their field and knows what they want to accomplish with that person, but you can read that they are trying to build a rapport with maybe some misconceptions within their field and how they can provide a solution to what issues people might be thinking about. All right. And lastly, we see that he is doing what we're called collaborative language of imagining you with this person, right? So us together, what we can do and how I can help you achieve the things that you'd like to together. So in this statement, this takes more time for us to do. I would love to help you continue to craft the confidence and working through how you interact with others with some of our other techniques that we have. We have some in-person sessions coming up on Saturday, where we go into our second session, which is email, text, face-to-face, and how those communications can cause some misunderstandings and what to improve on, and some things to watch out for so that we decrease those conflicts. Because we're short on time, I just wanted to share with you that as you're having these conversations and networking, always be ready to show something. We have our cell phones. Keep a folder of favorites, whether that's on your Samsung or whatever phone that you have, that you can pull up, because people become interested when you are genuinely interesting. We also are offering Canva boot camps to help you with your online presence. I would highly encourage you to look up those sessions. I believe one is coming up July 20th and 27th. This is in person and helping you craft different things in Canva. I would also encourage you to create a digital business card to help you to, once you make that connection, you want to keep that connection by continuing your small talk, right? Connect on a genuine level, and then move into your business discussions. What excites you? What do you find joy in? What are you concerned about? And then target those into your business platform or your professional platform. In an upcoming session with myself, we'll be talking about some leadership skills where we'll build on some of these ideas of resilience. What we've been talking about today is a hard thing to do, to keep putting yourself out there, to keep trying, to keep crafting what you say. And I encourage you to keep writing it out so that you can edit it, practice it, and do it anywhere that there's a networking opportunity. We are just about at our time. I'm going to check in with Jennifer. Do we have any time for question and answer, or where are we now?
We definitely do. If anyone has to go, they can drop out of the call, but we can definitely do question and answer.
Perfect. I want to thank those of you who have given us your precious time today. I hope these comments and techniques are helpful in continuing your entrepreneurial journey. And I will be at the school on Saturday. Yes, I'm doing this session again in the morning at 10 o'clock. And then again, then I'll be doing the second session, the email in different modalities at, I believe, 12:30.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
And I would love to connect with any one of you. I'm going to go back to my first slide and give you my email again. It's adeyeym@suny-suffolk.edu. And I would love to help you continue to craft your full-on statement, your full-on elevator pitch. It does take time. Yes, we will follow up with the PowerPoint and my resource list via email.
If anyone needs any assistance on where to register for upcoming workshops or how to register, our contact information is also in the chat, where you can reach out to me and I can assist you one-on-one to help you join our future workshops.
Well, thank you guys. I'm gonna go. I appreciate it. You guys are probably gonna get sick of me. You should have never gave me an email.
Nope.
So
Nope, that's why we're here.
I'm gonna definitely be using you guys as a resource. I'm trying to get this off the ground. So I will speak to you in the near future. Thank you guys.
All right, Anton. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Are there any questions that anybody has that we can answer for you while you're still on?
All right. Well, thank you again for your time, folks, and I hope to see you in the next session.
Thank you so much for presenting tonight, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Same here.
Have a great evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.